Hello, welcome to Cloud with K George. At the moment, I've already started, but I just created the provider, which is AWS. That's what I'm using. But I'm not feeling well. Just studying, and I decided to record it. You know, creating some EC2s and some virtual private um cloud with Terraform. Terraform is an infrastructure as code software, and I just started. So let's get into it. Today I am creating three public subnets and three private subnets, and connecting it to an auto scale. Just connecting it to also application load balancer. So let's get into it. I like I said, I've already started it. I just created the provider, and then an EC2, excuse me. And I run the Terraform initialization, and then the plan, and the EC2 that I'm going to create is Terraform dash or tag VPC. So this is what it's going to create: VPC underscore AWS underscore VPC dot Terraform tag VPC, and want to add 0 to change. And let's go ahead and create. Like I said, we are just learning. So, it's going to be live. It's going to be, raw because you know, whenever I run into any error or any issue, we're going to troubleshoot it live on the spot. This is how I learn. And I want to, show the world, or show everyone that comes on my platform to see how best everything is done. And I'm in the learning process, so I just want to so the VPC has been created. Let's go and see which one it is. It ends with 86E2. So we have 8682 here. So the VPC has been created. You know, and let's take a look at the what we have over here. This is it. Like I said, after every creation that I make, I just delete it. That's around a VPC destroy. We have the VPC, which is here. No subnets, and this right here is the default route table, and then zero net connection. Um, you know, internet gateway or not. But let's go ahead and create some more resources. So for best practices, let's go ahead and create another file, and we're gonna name it vpc.tf. And you should also know that Terraform is very sensitive, so case sensitive. So if you use um, you know, and uppercases to in the TF section over here, you're going to have some errors in the future when you are running it, right? So what I'm going to do is, I've copied this over here, and I'm going to also create another file called provider.tf. So with this provider, we have the main over here, but this is the provider section for AWS. And provider is simply telling us that we are using Terraform for AWS services, and so we have required provider, which is AWS. We have the hashcop slash AWS, forward slash AWS, and so we can have a provider such as Azure and a provider such as um, you know, Google. So let's just take a look at Terraform provider providers and go right here. So we can see that there are numerous providers over here, and when we go all the way down, we see it's over here 4,113. So we have AWS, we have Azure, we have Google Cloud Platform, Alibaba, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. These are all providers that you can go in there. So when we go to AWS and we go to documentation, so this is what we did. Now we just copy and then do so. You can do it to all the other providers. So we're going to cut this one and paste it here in the provider section and save it. Remember to save it. You can come over here and save it all, or you can, if you're using Windows, you can just use Control S to save it. Um, you know, Normally I forget to save it because I don't know, maybe I was, scared in the beginning, and it wasn't like a good practice. But the best practice of it all is for you to save it. Okay, you have to save it. Save everything that you do. If you cut it, you have to save it right there. Um, so we have saved it. Let me see. So we run in Terraform plan again to see. So we have an error over here at duplicate resource AWS configuration, and it's going to tell us that line 2. So you know right here. Okay. So what we had was that already there is a VPC in my AWS that I have named Terraform VPC, tech VPC. So I just had to use a different name for this one, and then run Terraform apply. I like Terraform because I fell in love with it when I found out, because you can create a lot of applications with the Terraform. So if we go to our what we have over here, we have different kinds of files. We have the main provider VPC. We have the VPCs there. Let's go into the VPC. You can see everything that we've created over here, and there is a backup too. So um, the cider block is classless interdomain route block, and a 10.0.0.0/16. And all of these attributes, or let's say arguments and attributes that you can add. These are like arguments that you can add to the VPC. We have the mode, the type VPC, and we have the name over here, VPC1, and all of that. So, you know, um, you can just take a look at it, just spend some time in there, um, you know, and play around it, just understand it. For me, I just create something and I spend, you know, 30 to 45 minutes just scrolling through and going into the console to see what I have done. But it is best practice to just familiarize yourself with the Terraform. So we're creating the Terraform with the states and everything. It is just practice. Yes. Okay, so let's go into. So let's see. Let's refresh this one over here. So when we go into let's like create a VPC, so we know that we'll have a VPC name over here. So like if we are creating a VPC, we have three sections. The VPC itself, subnet. At the moment, we have um four subnets. So one for the public subnet and then the private subnet. But we can come over here and choose three subnets. So we have three for each public, public, and this private, 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 and all the public subnets have their own route table and they route to the internet gateway. And guess where the private subnets route to? They have their own route tables as well, and then they route to the NAT gateway um, over here. But we could create an S3 buckets and all that for them. So you know, and this is the cider block, right? The cider block over here, uh, you know, helps with knowing the range of the IP address that it's going to. So it's the range is between 16 to 28, for the public subnet. So we choose that one, and then we choose the number of subnets, three of them over here, and the number of private subnets is also three over here, and customize cider blocks. So we can see, right, we have 20, we have temp 00, that's they're like the defaults. We have 16, we have 32, and then we have the private subnets that start from 128, 144, 160. So these are the ones, before you even create your public and private subnets, you can come in here, take a look at it, and also we can choose like one subnet or whatever in per availability zone, but we just want all of it in one availability zone so that you know the cost will be good, right? The cost will be nice for us. um I mean, but in the future, and an endpoint is none. So you know and then you can click create, but that's what we're going to do in you know in the Terraform. When you click create, you're creating it um in the console. So when it comes to Terraform and all the other coding, you know, in the VS Code, Visual Code, Studio, um, commenting is very important. So you know, just like we have over here, we always use the hash tag, the hashtag to comment. So, you know, here create a VPC. So we just going to comment create public subnet, because we're gonna create three of them. Then we'll just come down and then, you know, create the, and then we will just paste this one here. So, oh, let me just bring this one up here, save it, and then, you know, so what we see over here is that the resources is AWS underscore subnet. And, you know, we can call this, you know, public subnet one, right? And then we can come here. So it is asking for um, a VPC ID. And the reason why it's asking for a VPC ID is that when you come to the VPC, right? And then you come over here for the subnets, right? You have a VPC ID over. So let's go to the subnets, and let's say that we go into this one over here, you know, we have the subnet ID and the VPC ID. So it states a VPC ID. So we come over here and then no, we come over. So AWS VPC and let's go main. So the way that we can create this VPC here, ID here, is to come over here. We can copy all of this and then, you know, remove the main away and paste it here. But what we have to do is clear the con over here, put a dot over here, and come over here and remove this. There we go. And then we save it. Right. So we save it, and we already have the CIDR block, which is 10.1.24. So, but we can go into the the you know the subnets in the VPC and then, you know, create like with the customized one that we did, that we saw earlier on. We can choose one of these. So let's try to choose one of these. Dot 0, dot 20, and then save. And a name for it is going to be, you know, if we are creating like variables, we can just give it a name right there, but we'll create the variables later. You know, TerraForm, you know, public subnet. One, and then save. So let's run the first one and see. And it was successful. Let's validate TerraForm. Validate. So we have an error over here again. So we can see that there it says the main dot file, which is here, saying that AWS public subnet. No. And then the line 26. So we have the issue right here. Terraform, you know, classics. So the error was that I had Okay. So the error was that I had two, two of these, you see AWS underscore VPC dot AWS underscore VPC, right? I had to clear one of them, and it states right here, it says manage resource AWS VPC AWS has been declared in the root model. So, you know, the best, resources, or the best way and in Terraform is, you can read the error message and it can give you the solution of what is going on in there. So now I ran validate again and it gave us a success, that the configuration is valid. So let me run Terraform plan and let's see what it comes in here. So you see that it's creating these, and it gives us that it's going to create one public subnet, that is Terraform public one, the AWS subnets dot public one, and we have all these arguments right over here. No, these you can see, so attributes, you have ARN over here, so these are attributes that you can add and customize the the sub you know the subnet. So let's see what we have over here when we go into the, let's go to subnets, let's refresh. We have not applied yet, you see, so I'm new to this. So, and I'm in a hurry to create it, so, but let's apply first, and it's loading now, it's creating, so it's going to ask us a question to validate, and I say yes, and it's creating now, and it choose 1 second, so it says resource has been added. Let's come into the console and refresh. Now we see that we have public subnet 1 with the tag, because that's the tag that we gave to it, and this is the subnet that has been created. So we know that our code is good, so we're going to copy the code, copy it, come down here, paste it over here, and then we're going to name this one 2. It will have the same, VPC ID, but with the subnets, we're going to choose a different customization. We'll come to the customization, and we're going to choose the CIDR, the classless into the main wrap block, 1610.0.16.0/20, which will be in the US East 1B. So we go in here, and then we just change 10.0. So over here we make it 16, and then we change this one to 2, because it's going to give us the name for public subnet 2, and we save it. Or you can also come over here and you can save, because we've already saved it, so the save all is grayed out. And then let's apply again. We're creating it little by little, so that we do not make any mistake. So it's giving us to say yes to it, and it has also added a different resource to it. Let's go to our VP subnet and refresh. We should get the subnet, public subnet 2 over here. and it's subnet over here. It is exciting, right? Yes, it is. So we come down here and paste it again, but this time we'll just make it 3, and we'll go to the the creation of the VPC and pick up this one over here, 32, for the cider block. So that you don't forget. I mean, for me, I would not forget, so I do it as quick as possible and do a 3 over here. So I have 3 over here, this with the same VPC ID with the cider block tag, and let's come over here. So because I did not use Control S, we have save all over here. So I'll save it, come over here and apply. But sometimes when you go to TerraForm apply, you can add, you know, tag auto apply, so that you don't put the yes over there. It has created. So we have 3 subnets now. When we go to our subnet, we we have 3 subnets now, 1, 2, and 3 available, and they are all available. And we have the cider block, VPC cider block, classless interdomain route. Kindly, no. So we customize it with the um with what we were creating over here. So now, congratulations, you have created 3 public subnets in your Terraform. Guess what we're going to create next? We're going to create 3 private subnets. But let's do this. So guess what? We're going to create private subnets. And like I said, documentation is very important. So it uses the same thing, just that we're going to change the public to private. The same thing, we'll come over here and private, and we're going to save it. But the cider block needs to change to this one. So if we are going to create the first subnet, we're just going to use this one over here, which is 10.0.128.0/20. So we come over here, 128, we save it, and we apply. It is creating. We'll say yes. And our first private subnet, sorry about that. Our first private subnet has been created. Let's come here. Did we tag it? Yes, we did tag it. 0936. No. Let me take a look at this properly. Like I said, this is a live troubleshooting. 128/21. So our private subnet is here. We have the CIDR block to be 128.0/20. So we're going to copy and paste. This time around, we're going to do a double one. And then go back to here, 144. 144, private subnet 2, private 2. We have 160 and private subnet 3. And we change this one to be 3. And guess what? We come over here and save it all. And then we do apply. So there is an issue over here, public 3, 60, 73. So the mistake is that over here, there is already, I didn't change it to private and to private, you see. So that is me, you know. So I have to come over here. You have to be careful with the way that you want to, and then over here you see. So you just have to pay attention, and and then save it, save all. Okay, so we have private subnet 2, CIDR block, private 3, private subnet, CIDR block. Let's run apply again. So we are having to confirm and validate, and it's creating. So 2 added, so we did 2 at once. So let's go into our VPC here and go to the subnet and refresh. Now we have private subnet 1, private subnet 2, and private subnet 3. So in all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we should have 6. This is just a default over there. So congratulations, you've created your first 3 public subnets and 3 private subnets. Now let's go on. This is exciting. So the next one is to create a root table. So let's see. Now when we go to, we have a, a root table that connects to the internet gateway and at the same time connect to all the public subnets, right? So this is what we create in the VPC, right? Yes, we have subnets, root tables, and network connections, internet gateway, or NATs, public NATs for their private subnets. So create internet gateway. So we have the internet gateway over here. Um, you know, and the resource is going to be AWS Internet Gateway, and then the name for our internet for our gateway is just, over here, but we can just add an I to it just to be just to say internet gateway, and then we'll just come over here and say public, sorry, IGW, and save it. Okay, so let's plan it and see what we're going to get. So we already have we have to give it a name over here. So that is the thing over. So we already have a VPC ID over here. So I'll just copy this one over here. And then come down here. Come down here and remove their main and paste it here. And then we'll just save it all and go back to the plan. And we have another arrow for all of that. So we did the same mistake that we did earlier on. Added, two of them. So, go back here and save all. And run again. Run the plan again. And now we see that it is going through with it. It's going to create an internet gateway that'll be called IG, and the name will be IG to IGW. Let's click on apply, and then it's going to access to validate, and we're going to say yes. It's saying applied canceled. Let's say apply again. And like I said, it's case sensitive, so I have to make it lowercase. So let's make it lowercase and apply. There we go. So you see it is creating and it's create. Had an added one to it. Let's go to our VPC and go to Internet Gateway. When we refresh, we already have public IGW, which is here. 55DC. 55DC is over here. So there we have it. So what we're going to do now is create route table for our public. Let's create public route table for public subnet. So I'll come over here and paste this over here. So this is our resource over here, and we will just come over here and we call our VPC TerraForm classic route table RT, and then VPC ID. So the VPC ID, we have to be careful with it again, otherwise we have it over here, right? So, and we already have the VPC over there, so I'll copy this one and just take it down there. There we go. Because we always make the mistake over here and paste it over here and save it. So now we have this one, and then the cider block will be, but we really don't need IPv6 cider block. So basically, with the cider block for the root table, we want our traffic. So we're gonna make it, you know, 0.0.0.0/0. That means that, we want traffic from everywhere. We save it, and then we come to the gateway ID. So that's the gateway that we just created. So we go to the gateway ID, resource for gateway, and we copy this one, and we have to be careful because we have this one over here. I will just take all of it off. Let me see, because I don't want to make any. I want to be careful. So there we go. So we already have it. We save it. I am going to take this one off because we don't need IPv6, and I'm going to name this one TerraForm Classic. Oh no. RT, and save it. And then we'll come over here and plan to see, so that we can make any changes that will come with it. So our plan is successful. Let me validate. Because it is a lot of things that we come over here, and we've done a lot of it. So I will just go ahead and apply. And when we finish, I would just group all of it into one folder. At the moment, we did it again. At the moment, everything is in the main file. So I will create every individual file for the private subnets, the public subnets, and all of that. So we have an error here. So we're able to create a thing, but it just had I want to destroy. So it was just the um the gateway ID was named different. Come to the root table, and then we see we got our TerraForm Classic RT here. Yeah, it's been we getting there. Hey, but we able to troubleshoot on our own and be able to do what we have to do. Yes, so now let's connect the private subnet to the NAT gateway. I'll just get down with the AWS root table subnet association. Okay, let me do root table. Uh-oh. Let me save it first before get into trouble.